we're here at the National Mall. There in the distance behind me, you can see the Lincoln Memorial. This is the place that has the gigantic statue of Abe Lincoln, the 16th president of the US. The guy who, in 1863, issued the Emancipation Proclamation, declaring all of the people enslaved in the US legally free. Which brings us to today's question: what is the state of slavery, not just in the US, but in the world today? Number one, there are more slaves alive today than there have been at any point in human history. Now, I know that sounds terrifying. The estimate ranges from between 21 all the way up to 36 million, and it's difficult to know the exact number due to, the practice of treating people like property instead of like people. This is not to disparage or denigrate in any way the activities and the efforts of numerous NGOs, government organizations, and various task forces addressing the problem. And it's fair to ask if this is simply a result of the explosion in the world's population. And perhaps it is, although not necessarily in the way we might assume. Because let's consider that when there are more people competing for a smaller amount of resources, it means many more people are at the risk of becoming homeless or malnourished or enslaved due to the economic realities of the world in which they live. Number two, not only are there more slaves in the world than ever before, but now slaves are cheaper than ever before. In terms of, I want to buy a person, how much does it cost? Well, in the American South, mid-1800s, buying a slave would cost someone the equivalent of $40,000 in today's money, so about the price of a sedan. However, today, if you want to buy a person, which makes you a horrible person, by the way, you're looking at an average of $90. $40,000 versus $90. Three, this is a question we would like to ask Lincoln, and we'd like to ask you too. Has slavery ended in the US, or has it simply evolved? Consider that opponents of things like the debt and credit system in the US argue that it is a sort of financial slavery, right? And then opponents of the US prison system argue that it simply replaces the earlier practices of Jim Crow laws and slavery. Thanks so much for watching. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter at Conspiracy Stuff to hear more stories. And if you'd like to learn more about the state of slavery and human trafficking today, then visit our audio podcast at stufftheydon'twantyoutoKnow.com.